name is Matt Christensen. I'm the Executive Director of Eurosif, and I wanted to share with you some of the key findings from the 2010 EU SRI market study done by Eurosif. The study was sponsored by Amundi, BNP Paribas Investment Partners, Crédit Agricole Chevreux, and Edmond de Rothschild Asset Management. The aim of the EU study, which is done every 2 years by Eurosif, is to highlight the key trends in the European Union, but equally to look at different member states of the EU. The 2010 survey actually looked at 19 different countries and the trends in sustainable and responsible investment. From that study, we have a number of interesting highlights to share with you today. The European SRI market had tremendous growth. From 2008 to 2010, the study shows that the market has grown from 2.7 trillion euro to roughly a 5 trillion euro market. Part of that growth is because the asset class diversification has increased tremendously over the past 2 years. What was previously a market driven by equities as an asset class has now moved into others, such as fixed income, representing roughly 53% of the overall assets under management, and equally monetary funds have also grown. So the equity asset class has actually dropped from 50% to 33%. So this is not the dominating asset class as it was in the past.
There has been a very strong growth on SRI monetary market fund because there was a strong demand of our clients to have a non-risky asset class, SRI asset class.
Another reason for the growth of the market is actually the proliferation of strategies. If you look at the SRI market in Europe, you have innovation, whether it be looking at core SRI or broad SRI.
Alors sur ce marché, l'étude Eurosif distingue deux formes d'ISR, le core et le broad. Le core progresse moins, d'une vingtaine de pourcents sur les 2 années. Le broad SRI, lui, par contre, a fait plus que doubler, ce qui nous amène à des montants de 3 800 milliards sur ce broad SRI. Je pense qu'effectivement, il y a eu une prise de conscience de la part des acteurs de l'avantage de proposer des produits ou une gamme ISR, une demande qui a répondu également à cette offre qui était assez importante, demande qui émane principalement des institutionnels, mais l'étude révèle également que les particuliers s'intéressent à cette forme d'ISR.
Retail clients historically have been more attracted by thematic funds, thematic approaches such as environmental funds or microfinance, whereas institutional investors have historically been more attracted by generalist or best-in-class strategies simply because it's a practical way for them to integrate SRI or ESG criteria into existing portfolios and asset allocation without impacting their overall budget risk. So it is perfectly manageable from their point of view.
In the near future, we see 3 areas for development. The first one, obviously, and what the survey shows, is there is a gap between the south of Europe and the north of Europe. The other area is the bond market, fixed income market, as we say, because it makes plenty of sense for them to incorporate this approach into their analysis and into their investment standards. And the third one, I believe, is a retail market, where we see lots of potential for growth.
With all the growth in this sector, one of the key challenges for European SRI going forward will be about how to actually assess the measurement of the impact. Because many of the new players, and even the existing players for some time, have developed very interesting strategies, but there's an overall question about how do you measure the impact of these strategies. And so one of the really important areas to explore in the future is going to be about, number one, what is the definition of SRI going forward? Because the growth of the sector really demands a better understanding of what it means to be an SRI player. And the second key challenge will be about how to measure ESG impact over time so the investors actually understand what they're investing in. As we think about these issues going forward, the growth of SRI, the challenges to the sector, Eurosif is well positioned to continue in its role to both shape the thinking around this sector, but equally to help bring people together to think about solutions for how to define SRI, for how we implement the best policies in Europe. And so I'd just like to close by thanking once again the sponsors who supported us in this work and all the research team and the Eurosif team who worked very hard on putting the results together in this study that you now have. Thank you, and sustainably yours.